Hey, hello. This is Stuck in Traffic with Wolf Gorlick. Couple minute riff on IT and IT security. Unscripted as always. So an interesting thing happened over the Christmas season. If you're familiar with Valve, it does Steam, they do the video game store, lots of traffic, hugely important, as I'm told, in the online gaming community. Now, I'm not an online gamer. The last time I did gaming was like during the Asteroids days, which, for the record, I rock at. Give me a joystick, give me 8-bit graphics, I will kick some Asteroids butt. But for the more modern gamer, the connoisseur, if you will, Valve and their sales over the Christmas season is practically a tradition, right? So you'll get games from like 10% off the original list price. So a lot of people hit the site. Also, because they're into gaming, denial of service is one of the biggest threats they face. And we talked about this in the past, right? The confidentiality, availability, integrity, availability being a key aspect for a online business. So around Christmas, Valve gets hit with the denial of service attack, which is not unusual. Reports vary, but I've seen around 21%, or 21 times rather, the normal expected traffic. So that's a lot of traffic hitting their sites all at once. In response, having been hit with denial of service attacks many times, their web providers had denial of service capabilities built in. They executed and they distributed the load out and stood up a new farm, right? And in doing so, they copied over the databases. From what I know of databases, from what I can tell from the reports, I suspect, as opposed to copying a database file across the network, they probably, for the affected accounts, did a select to a file, compress the file, move the file, load the file in. I'm making that assumption because it looks like the primary key was changed in the new system. You may wonder, well, so what? A key's a key, right? Who cares about a primary key? Well, the result of that was when users went to look at their private info after this had taken place, because their primary key they logged in with did not match the primary key of the restored database, they were getting other people's information. Right? So if you're number 2 and I'm number 1 in the main database, and we get exported and loaded into the new database, and now I'm number the opposite of what I just said. Now you're seeing my information, I'm seeing yours, right? Including billing information, last for the credit card, all that sort of stuff. Valve recognized this very quickly, to their credit, and even more to their credit, they immediately suspended all transactions. They basically took down the full site during their busiest time of the year, during the busiest time both in terms of user traffic and in terms of economics. During the time when it cost them the most, they made the decision to protect user data and take the entire site down, offlining it until they figured out what the problem was and could correct it, which is incredibly admirable. So, one, hats off to Valve for doing that. That is intense. That's so rare that you see a company making a decision that sacrifices quite a bit of money to protect their users. So I was very impressed by that. Some other aspects of the story I found interesting was their response time. Not only did they do the right thing, but they already noticed that there was a problem very quickly. There's the LoJack story, right? So we've talked in the past about LoJack and security controls that introduce new security vulnerabilities. This is a perfect case of that. Denial of service mitigation introducing a information disclosure. So make sure you have a good response, make sure you have a good plan, and make sure you're testing your controls and seeing if they're actually introducing new vulnerabilities when they're kicked over. Fourth thing, in terms of the applications, don't just trust in the primary key for sensitive information. It would have been nice if they also had matched name or other records that were stored. This would have allowed the application layer to do a prevention. All right. Finally, so hats off to Valve. You guys may have noticed that I took a sabbatical. My videos were down for a full week over the holiday. Now the truth can be known. If you went into YouTube and looked at your properties, you may have seen someone else's information. And to protect all you guys, I deliberately didn't know. I had a great holiday. I hope you guys had a great holiday as well. And Happy New Year. Happy 2016.